Yeah, it's plugged in. We didn't do anything. We just turned.
Today on University Report, we'll give you an update on plans for the 3rd Police Precinct that was set on fire in 2020.
The most important factor is what's been overlooked time and time again, and that's community engagement. It needs to be real, it needs to be genuine, it needs to be intentional.
Plus, how families experienced the solar eclipse despite the less than sunny weather conditions.
So even though we haven't seen it, at least we'll be able to have a story about how we tried.
And
I am standing on the Washington Avenue Bridge on campus. Coming up, I'll tell you about an organization looking to implement greater safety precautions on the bridge.
all that and more on University Report.
Good morning, I'm Anna Belden.
And I'm Sabrina Salguero del Cid. Thank you for joining us. Thousands of students cross the Washington Avenue Bridge each day during the school year. Unfortunately, it's also a place that a certain number of lives come to an end each year. Grace Henry is on the Washington Avenue Bridge to tell us about an effort to prevent suicide there. Grace?
Hi, Sabrina. The bridge has 2 levels, of course. The lower level that has bus, light rail, and car traffic, and the upper level here that has foot traffic. And that's the focus of concern. Each year, several people die by suicide on the Washington Avenue Bridge. Last Thursday, I went to a meeting where an organization is working to implement safety precautions on the bridge in order to prevent suicide.
In November of last year, MJ Weiss lost her daughter to suicide. Since then, she has spearheaded a movement to implement physical safety barriers on the Washington Avenue Bridge.
I believe that if Kayla had gotten there and seen barriers, that she would still be with us here today. What is currently there is not enough.
The bridge is an integral part of the University of Minnesota campus.
I used to walk across it like every day.
Being at Carlson, I use it quite often. I lived in the Middlebrook dorm my freshman year also, so I was going across the bridge quite often, just being over on West Bank, trying to get over to East Bank.
There are currently several safety precautions on the bridge, including phones on each side, security cameras, and signage posted with the crisis line number. Weiss began work with SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, to get funding to add physical barriers. During a meeting last Thursday, Eric Miche brought up several examples that could possibly help improve safety on the bridge, including raising the railing or installing nets like the Golden Gate Bridge did last year.
Their most tangible statement was, we're going to raise the railing.
According to SAVE's research, in the past, concerns about ruining the aesthetics of the bridge had come up when discussing safety improvements. However, Phoebe West says safety is more important than preserving aesthetics, and she supports raising the railing.
Yeah, I think that would be a wise decision. Like anything to keep people safe is a good idea.
It feels a little low, like honestly just walking next to it, it feels kind of like low in general, like you could easily just get like almost pushed over.
In order to implement safety precautions, there must be funding. Weiss and Miche urge people to contact legislators and U of M Board of Regent members and encourage them to push for funding.
Reach out to your new University of Minnesota president. Like I said, my guess is they've got a lot on their plate right now, probably aren't even aware that this is an issue, and I think would probably appreciate the student body reaching out.
We need our state to stand behind a culture of safety and provide more measures of arms and support around the population in crisis.
Any of the work that's being done here to raise awareness and educate people about suicide prevention barriers on that bridge ultimately is going to help save lives of their fellow students.
SAVE has resources to help you reach out to your legislators or Board of Regent members. For more information, head to our website, z.umn.edu/universityreport. SAVE is also hosting a suicide awareness memorial next Thursday in Bloomington. Those details are posted on our website too.
Thank you, Grace. Remember, there's also a new number to call if you or someone you know is having suicidal thoughts. It's 988, and it's available 24 hours a day. Again, that's 988 from any phone.
The Office of Student Affairs will be holding the 2024 Northern Stars Students Remembrance Service next Monday, April 15th at the Kauffman Memorial Union Theater. This is from last year's service honoring the lives of University of Minnesota students who died within the past year. The service consists of music, readings, and individual student recognition. Loved ones of students can share their thoughts and words through the RSVP form. You can find the link on our website at z.umn.edu/universityreport. The building behind me used to be the 3rd Precinct in Minneapolis, but it has sat vacant for 4 years since being set on fire in 2020. Coming up, I have more on what the city plans to do with the space.
And we saw some sun for the first time in a while earlier this week. Coming up, Pooja Singh will tell us how soon it might feel like summer.
Because it was there. Because determination overcame distance.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Because the unsolvable was invitation enough. Why are we driven to discover? Because we can change the course of history. At the University of Minnesota, with each student comes an opportunity to set their sights higher and to show them the way, so our graduates can shape the future and fulfill the dreams they haven't yet dreamt. Because renewable energy can sustain us all. Our students envision the sun powering homes on every block, wind-blown ideas launching entirely new economies, and fertile soils fueling cars and people alike, protecting the harmony between humanity and nature. Because self-expression can move 1,000 souls. Be it a song or a dance, a canvas or a poem, the arts are vital to the U of M experience, as are self-discovery and moments of sheer amazement. Because cancer can be conquered by targeting medicines, customizing treatments, and transplanting stem cells, incurable cancers can become survivable. Terminal can be redefined as treatable, and optimism can spread once again. Because human rights need champions. From classrooms in Minnesota to courtrooms in Uganda, assembling a collective voice for change allows dignity to return and extends human rights across the globe. Because clean water ensures quality of life. It's essential to the health of all nations, so we're studying models and molecules. We are committed to making clean water flow freely, from the headwaters of the Mississippi to the slums of Mumbai. We share the belief that anything is possible, because at the University of Minnesota, discoveries unfold, breakthroughs happen, and history is forever changed.
The president of the undergraduate student government resigned on March 22nd, citing personal reasons and to focus on his well-being. Shushank Morales' term as president began last July, and he served for 9 months. In a statement to the Minnesota Daily, the USG said it might not appoint the current vice president, Sarah Davis, as president because there's not much left of the semester. After election results were certified on March 25th, Rama Ali was elected as the next school year's USG president. Ali will begin her term this summer.
Well, our snow is almost all gone, and I don't want to jinx anything, but maybe for good. And with the recent warmer temperatures, people have been out and about around campus. So is the mild weather here to stay for the next few days? Pooja Singh has more on the warm weather trend. Hi, Pooja.
Hi, Anna. I'm saying this with my fingers crossed, but I think it's safe to say you could put that winter jacket away for the season. But that doesn't necessarily mean you won't be needing an extra layer. Strong winds and a few sprinkles did not stop those around campus to get outside and enjoy some much needed sun. It's a good thing Minnesotans are good at adapting to season turnarounds quickly because we will start to get some real spring weather this weekend. Here's what's heading our way. Showers. Rain will pop up around the metro on Tuesday with thunderstorms rolling in to Wednesday morning's commute. So take this as a reminder, Anna, to start slowly bringing in that spring wardrobe as we head into the weekend.
Wow, well, I'm looking forward to that summer preview this weekend. Thanks, Pooja. The city of Minneapolis wants to turn the former 3rd Precinct into a voter services center and community space. The city officials presented the plan to City Council on Monday, which sparked disagreement on how to proceed. Nearly 4 years after George Floyd's murder and the burning of the 3rd Police Precinct, the city wants to rebuild the space for an elections and voter services center. The council agreed last November that 3000 Minnehaha Avenue will no longer be a police station. The new one will be relocated 3 blocks north as a community safety center. City operations officers presented a draft plan and the next steps for repurposing the building. The proposed total space would be 34,000 square feet. Almost a quarter of that would be used for community use. The current location of the Voter Services Center is on East Hennepin Avenue and 10th Street in Northeast Minneapolis. And the city says the new location will be more centralized and near transportation. The city doesn't actually need approval of the council in order to continue with their plans, but they're asking for a vote to show that city leadership is unified in moving forward. Some council members wanted the site dedicated solely to community use. Other council members, including Latricia Vitow, said that a voter services center is community use and it is time to fix the building.
This is one of the services that we can have in this site, so let's do it. Let's get rid of this eyesore in community.
Rachel Boki is the executive director of the Longfellow Community Council, which is located in the neighborhood of 3000 Minnehaha. They held an outreach session to determine what Longfellow community members wanted for the space.
94% of people in the community simply want it put to a community-determined use.
A main complaint from many council members and Boki is that the city did not reach out to Longfellow community members prior to their decision to make the site a voter services center.
The most important factor is what's been overlooked time and time again, and that's community engagement. It needs to be real, it needs to be genuine, it needs to be intentional.
If it's going to be a positive environment for youth or, for people that need some kind of supportive services, I would be all for that. But I would like to know more about it because in the past I haven't been involved with things that maybe would impact our neighborhood and my life.
The next steps include a community information session this spring and then a much-needed cleanup of the site this summer.
This summer could be a fresh start for some. Coming up, I explore what cannabis expungement means for Minnesota.
I don't want something on my record to give a preconceived notion of who I am.
Coming up, we'll tell you how a local organization is working to lessen the stigma around HIV/AIDS.
We're all about water in Minnesota. I've been here approaching 50 years. Originally, the biggest problem we had is the algae bloom from the sewage in the lake. And now we got the zebra mussels, and that's been a major negative.
Zebra mussels are an aquatic invasive species. They impact the food webs within lakes, which impact fish populations, growth, occurrence, and especially in Minnesota where so much of our recreation is lake-based, that impacts those local businesses, different tourism around the state. Zebra mussels were first found in the Great Lakes back in 1986, and since then they have spread throughout much of Minnesota. People love clear water, but that's not necessarily good. That means that conditions are different for the plants, for the fish, for everything in the lake. This project out on Lake Minnetonka is looking at a copper-based product called EarthTech QZ. We are hoping that this will give us ideally some solutions for controlling zebra mussel populations. This project is largely a partnership between the University of Minnesota, specifically MASERC, the Minnesota Aquatic Invasive Species Research Center, and the U.S. Geological Survey.
It is very much a team effort. Even the marina owner that has graciously allowed us to use their area for staging our equipment and supplies. So without the cooperation of all those different partners, it would be impossible to do a study of this nature.
There are a lot of infrastructure and businesses existing, relying on the lake. It's not only the marinas, it's everybody around Lake Minnetonka will suffer subsequently.
Well, the zebra mussels over on the east end of the lake make it clear. It looks like an aquarium over there. So during the daytime, it's kind of tough to fish.
Zebra mussels affect our boats by getting in the motors. They affect the beaches. They get on the rocks. People step on them, cut their feet. So it just makes it less desirable to use the lake. And as a business that's in a lake community, that affects us.
This project is specific to Lake Minnetonka, but we're hoping that this type of treatment will be able to be repeated on different lakes. The University of Minnesota's Aquatic Invasive Species Research Center is one of a kind. It's the only one like it in the country. And the work that we're doing is protecting Minnesota's lakes.
The University of Minnesota is absolutely essential in this matter. And it's a profoundly positive experience for us to be part of it.
Wednesday was National Youth HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. Carly Berglund checked in with local organizations to see how it's making an impact.
Nearly 10,000 people live with HIV or AIDS in Minnesota, according to Minnesota Department of Health. 130 of those people are young adults. To avoid spreading this to more young adults, Youth AIDS Projects, also known as YAP, an organization located in the Twin Cities, provides awareness and education and offers free testing around the metro. YAP is housed in the University of Minnesota's Pediatrics Department, and it has offered medical case management for students and community members with HIV and AIDS since 1989.
I think it's still needed. I think youth still have an interesting struggle with HIV. Many of our young people are youth of color or LGBTQ youth. So there's other factors that can sometimes make life a little more challenging. And having places where people can go and get at least one or some of their burdens supported or lifted is super beneficial.
This week was National Youth HIV and AIDS Awareness Day, and YAP hopes its visits to campus and the surrounding community will spread awareness about HIV.
People are still getting infected, right? And so we still need to have those conversations.
YAP provides free HIV testing weekly to encourage young people to know their status at the YAP Outreach Office, located in the Powderhorn neighborhood of Minneapolis.
And it does make a big impact because it's something that isn't talked about as much as it has been in the past.
65% of people living with HIV and AIDS in Minnesota are people of color. YAP says it hopes to focus on local marginalized communities to prevent that spread.
The more you know about HIV, the less stigma folks tend to have to deal with because you understand it better.
YAP is always looking for volunteers to get involved and widen its reach across the community.
to help with some of the stressors that life brings along the way. And we have support groups.
With providing prevention supplies, medical counseling, and a support system, it's an organization that can make all the difference in a young adult's life. Carly Berglund, University Report.
For more information on how to get involved with YAP and to access its services, you can find the organization on Instagram.
The Gopher football team held its second spring practice last night at Larson Football Performance Center. The practice was open to the public, so football fans were able to catch a glimpse of the team earlier than usual. Falling in line with the recent public spring practice patterns, the practice was held indoors. If you didn't get a chance to attend, the next public glimpse of Gopher football will be the team's first game on August 29th at Huntington Bank Stadium during Welcome Week.
Minnesota officials will start expunging low-level marijuana convictions next month for more than 60,000 Minnesotans. Pooja Singh looks into what this means for Minnesotans looking for a clean slate.
Charges for possession and paraphernalia tend to be more aggressive than I think they should be.
Charlie Nesbitt was convicted during a traffic stop his freshman year for possession of marijuana. Now a senior at the university, he hopes statewide and local efforts to assist those with convictions will become more known.
With it being such a prominent topic within our legislature over the past couple years, I feel like the university, if they took an extra step or extended another olive branch that's maybe more visible to students, that would help their case.
Sealing these records is intended to remove barriers for people with cannabis-related offenses who are subject to background checks for jobs or housing. Dr. Rhonda Jones-Webb, Associate Director of Equity and Engagement at the Cannabis Research Center, set up by the university last year, has monitored the cannabis legalization for the past year.
Challenging to kind of change some of the norms around what it means to have a low-level, a criminal record for a low-level of offense, how we look at it. And I think that will be challenging.
Resources like the university's Boynton Health Clinic offers confidential and private counseling services, and student groups like Recovery on Campus, or ROC, which offers community support for students.
It all comes back to education on how to use these, when you should be using it, how not to overuse it.
Cleveland Young, manager of the rec center in Dinkytown, says overall it's not just about aligning with state laws, but about participating in larger shifts in how drug-related offenses are viewed and handled. Pooja Singh, University Report.
For those seeking guidance on drug or alcohol recovery, Boynton Health's Recovery on Campus program will host weekly meetings starting today at 4 p.m. and every Friday through May 17th in the Boynton Health Garden Room.
I'm at the Bell Museum where families gather for a chance to look at the total solar eclipse. Coming up, I'll show you reactions from the families and why they decided to show up despite the weather.
Because it was there. Because determination overcame distance.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Because the unsolvable was invitation enough. Why are we driven to discover? Because we can change the course of history. Because tomorrow's visionaries need focus today. At the University of Minnesota, with each student comes an opportunity to set their sights higher and to show them the way, so our graduates can shape the future and fulfill the dreams they haven't yet dreamt. Because renewable energy can sustain us all. Our students envision the sun powering homes on every block, wind-blown ideas launching entirely new economies, and fertile soils fueling cars and people alike, protecting the harmony between humanity and nature. Because self-expression can move 1,000 souls. Be it a song or a dance, a canvas or a poem, The arts are vital to the U of M experience, as are self-discovery and moments of sheer amazement. Because cancer can be conquered by targeting medicines, customizing treatments, and transplanting stem cells, incurable cancers can become survivable. Terminal can be redefined as treatable, and optimism can spread once again. Because human rights need champions. From classrooms in Minnesota to courtrooms in Uganda, assembling a collective voice for change allows dignity to return and extends human rights across the globe. Because clean water ensures quality of life. It's essential to the health of all nations, so we're studying models and molecules. We are committed to making clean water flow freely, from the headwaters of the Mississippi to the slums of Mumbai. We share the belief that anything is possible, because at the University of Minnesota, discoveries unfold, breakthroughs happen, and history is forever changed.
Thousands of Minnesotans were disappointed on Monday by the cloudy skies that cover a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see a partial total solar eclipse here in the state. I talked to people at the Bell Museum hoping to get a look at the eclipse. Hundreds of families gather at the Bell Museum to look at a rare total solar eclipse. That is when the moon completely blocks the light of the sun, which only happens around every 12 years to see in North America. And Minnesota had a 75% chance of totality during the solar eclipse this year.
Is the eclipse going to come here or not?
Many people ask that question because of the cloudy skies. Right now we are at the peak of the totality of the solar eclipse, but as you can see, there's only clouds. And many people say they were disappointed by the weather.
Oh, it is disappointing, I have to say. It is.
Because it's Minnesota, I figured something had to happen. And so if it's not snowing, it'd be raining. So at least it's not one of those things, even though it is cloudy, which is really disappointing. It's spring in Minnesota, what can you say?
But many people made the most of it even on a gloomy day. For Erica Kobe, celebrating her son's 6th birthday on the solar eclipse day is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It's a lovely experience and a fun birthday party, and exciting to have a birthday on the eclipse day.
Despite the weather, many gather at the Bell Museum for a sense of community.
Yeah, I think it's the community, we want to be part of something here, we were not able to go anywhere else.
We could not really see anything today, but it's so fun to see how everyone comes together here for the event and just have fun.
The total solar eclipse was a unique experience for Minnesotans to get together and share the excitement of a possibility. The Bell Museum offered a live stream of the total solar eclipse during the event, still creating a positive experience for the families. The next total solar eclipse in North America will be in 2044.
The Hubbard School's Visual Journalism Conference Northern Exposure began this morning. The 3-day conference brings together visual journalists from across the country to campus. Keynote speakers for the conference include Carol Guzzi, Kent Nishimura, and Tara Pixley. Today is Student Day, where students can get their portfolios reviewed, engage with journalists during a number of workshop sessions, and enter into a raffle. You can still register for the conference today at Murphy Hall's first floor front desk. For students, it's $10 for today only and $20 for the whole weekend. Thank you for joining us on this week's edition of University Report. I'm Anna Belden.
And I'm Sabrina Salguero Del Cid. Have a warm weekend and we'll see you next time.